Hello and welcome to another one video. Opinion about the NATO bombing of Serbia? It was wrong. Serbia Federal Republic of Yugoslavia didn't aggress NATO countries. The insurrection in Kosovo was started in 1995 by the UK, an Albanian Mafio terrorist movement who pretexted a lack of rights, while they had a parallel society out of an autonomy that was never enough for them, and a right to self-determination, while they had a sovereign motherland, Albania, less than 100 kilometers away, which was depopulating out of poverty, rule of violence and corruption. This UK committed terrorist actions against the Serbian authorities and then civilians, being responded in kind by the Serbian authorities due to the UK tactics to use Albanian villages as hideouts and the villagers as human shields, escalating to the civil war proper in 1997-1998. This UK was supported by foreign services like the German Brunei dollars, the SAS, and later on the CIA, who all provided weapons along Albania due to its Ponzi crisis in 1997 that saw the army armories being pillaged, the weapons massively ending in Kosovo, training, intelligence, their countries ultimately providing diplomatic support by indexing the UK of the terrorist organization list. Federal Republic of Yugoslavia accepted in Rambouillet, February 1999, an armed peacekeeping force after accepting the OSCE observators a few months later. And yet was framed in March 1999 by a additional and unacceptable NATO exigence to occupy their whole country to avoid NATO strikes. I really wonder how come such an exigence, doubled with such a threat, can be related to maintaining peace without UN mandate to do so, while FRY accepted already the armed peacekeeping force which had an UN mandate. And so, an alliance representing more than 700 million inhabitants bombed the FRY, 10 million inhabitants country. This war multiplicating by 10 the number of victims compared to the Kosovo war that they fueled under the pretext to prevent more bloodshed and provoked more than 700,000 displaced persons in Kosovo, 200,000 Serbs and Montenegrins, and 40,000 Roma being cleansed from Kosovo after the 10th June 1999 peace under NATO supervision under the pretext of avoiding ethnical cleansing. More than 500 Serbian and Montenegrin civilians died, 10,000 Albanians also died in Kosovo, 100 killed by NATO strikes. 1,000 plus Yugoslav soldiers died. 2,500 plus UK fighters died. No one knows the exact amount, nor how much Albanian declared civilians who died were in fact rebels. Serbia suffered 30 to 100 plus billions dollars damages, sources often varies about that. Serbian people and Albanian Kosovo people ended up both traumatized by this war. Depleted uranium was used on Kosovo and Serbia. Civilian housing, factories, power plants, chemical plants, bridges, governmental and administration buildings, TV and radio buildings, a Chinese embassy were blown up, as well as a train and some refugees convoys. Was the bombing of Yugoslavia legally justified? No. The attack on Yugoslavia was carried out without the legal sanction of the United Nations. The NATO alliance and its political leadership, led by Bill Clinton and Tony Blair, carried out war crimes and crimes against humanity and serious breaches of international law. While NATO did not have the backing of the United Nations Security Council to use force in Yugoslavia, its advocates contend that its actions were consistent with the United Nations Charter, claiming that the UN Charter prohibits unprovoked attacks only by individual states but condones such attacks by military coalitions of several states, such as NATO. This is a lie. The United Nations considers NATO to be a regional arrangement under UN Article 52, which allows them to deal with matters relating to the maintenance of international peace and security as are appropriate for regional action, provided that such arrangements or agencies and their activities are consistent with the purposes and principles of the United Nations. Bill Clinton convinced NATO to join in the fight against the people of Serbia. In doing so, NATO actually violated the terms of their own charter. Not one NATO member nation had been attacked by Serbia, yet most of them sent troops to march on that country. In June 2000, the NATO's Foreign Affairs Select Committee of the British Parliament said that the NATO aggression against Yugoslavia was illegal under international law. US and the UK governments deliberately waged war against Yugoslavia with the authority of the UN because it knew at best both Russia and China would use their veto on the UN Security Council to prevent any military action without specific UN approval. In 2008, the prosecutor of the International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia, Carla Del Ponte, revealed that she had been pressured not to investigate NATO's crimes. NATO Secretary-General Javier Solana ordered his forces to attack Yugoslavia without United Nations Security Council approval. The real purpose of the war had nothing to do with concern for Kosovar Albanians, but rather it was because Serbia was not carrying out the required social and economic reforms, meaning it was the last corner of Europe which had not subordinated itself to the US-run NB club-controlled neoliberal programs, so therefore it had to be eliminated. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe the video.